Welcome to Happy Motivation. This podcast is a space created for reflection and growth, real conversations about life, purposes, and becoming better without losing yourself along the way. I'm your host, Dre, and together we'll explore what it means to slow down, check in, and grow with intention. So wherever you are, take a breath and welcome to Happy Motivation. Welcome back to the Happy Motivation Podcast. This is your first time tuning in. Welcome. And if you've been walking with me through these first few episodes, thank you for staying present in this space. Over the past week, we've talked about a lot, and every episode has been intentional, even the bonus episodes. We started with power in the pause, learning how to slow down and listen to ourselves instead of constantly reacting. Then we talked about confirmation in the pause, recognizing that clarity often shows up when we stop forcing outcomes. We reminded ourselves that it's only the second month and you still have time, and that growth isn't late or behind schedule. In the power of intentional movement, we talked about choosing our next steps on purpose instead of moving out of pressure or emotion. And in choosing positivity and protecting your peace while you grow, we explore how mindset and boundaries matter just as much as action. All of those conversations lead to one important question. How do I move forward in a way that actually lasts? Today's episode is the answer to that question. Consistency over intensity. A lot of people probably feel inspired right now because we've paused, we reflected, we felt confirmation, and we decided to move differently. But inspiration fades, and without consistency underneath it, progress fades too. Consistency is what turns awareness into habits. It's what turns intention into real change. It's what turns growth into a lifestyle instead of a phase. And let's be honest though, intensity feels good. It feels productive. It feels powerful. It feels like change is finally happening. When motivation hits, we want to change everything at once. New routine, new goals, new habits, new version of ourselves. New year, new me. We tell ourselves, this time is different. And for a moment, it really feels like it is. But then what happens? Life shows up. Work gets heavy, our energy drops, emotions resurface, and our peace gets tested. And instead of adjusting, we abandon everything. And it's not because we failed, it's not because we're weak, but because intensity was never meant to be sustained. Intensity runs on emotion. Consistency runs on commitment. So let's slow this down and make this real. Think about the last time you decided you were going to change something. Maybe it was your health, your mindset, your boundaries, your routines. And at first you were locked in. You told yourself, this time I'm serious. I'm going to do this thing. You changed everything at once. And for a short while, felt amazing. But then something small happened. Maybe you missed a day. Maybe you got tired. Life interrupted your plans, as it typically does. And instead of adjusting, you told yourself, "Yep, I've already messed it up." And that moment right there, that's intensity. Because consistency would have said, I'll come back tomorrow. And how many times have you quit not because you failed, but because you were human? Consistency feels hard, not because you're doing it wrong, but it removes that emotional high. There's no adrenaline, no instant reward, no immediate proof. Consistency asks you to trust the process before you see the results. And that can feel uncomfortable, especially after you've already done the work to pause, reflect, and move intentionally. But quiet growth isn't stagnant growth. is foundational growth. Consistency is rarely dramatic. Most days it looks ordinary. It looks like showing up when nobody notices, doing the work when progress feels invisible, choosing sustainability over impressiveness. Consistency doesn't announce itself, it simply stays. And staying is what changes things. So I want to share something personal. There was a time in my life when I worked full time. I was working at Target full time, and I went to college full time, taking 5 classes, working 40 hours a week. And looking back, I honestly don't know how I made it through it because I was I was tired before the day even started. And from the outside, it might sound like intensity, but it wasn't. It wasn't. I wasn't sprinting for a short season. I was just showing up every day. I went to work. I went to class. I handled what was in front of me. And then I did it again the next day. No motivational speeches, no big breakthroughs, just consistency. And eventually it paid off. The same lesson showed up again in my career. Yes, I've been promoted, I've elevated, I've grown. But what people don't see are the years in between, the years where nothing exciting was happening, the years where progress felt slow and uneventful. There were seasons I felt stagnant, seasons I questioned if I was really moving forward, but I kept showing up anyway. Partly because I had responsibilities, like I had bills, I got to pay the bills, but also because I believed consistency would pay off. And I believe deeply that what God has for me is for me. So I trust this timing. I trust the process. And I kept showing up until that time came. So now let's bring this to you. Ask yourself honestly, where am I relying on intensity instead of consistency? Where do I quit because progress feels slow? Where am I expecting results before building a foundation? And now ask yourself this: what would change if I stopped trying to impress myself and started trying to support myself? Let those questions sit. Rewind it back if you need to hear those questions again, but let it sit. And then let's pause here and take a breath. You don't need to rush. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to sprint through growth. Consistency protects your peace, intensity drains it. So choose what allows you to last. Consistency doesn't always look like success in the moment. Sometimes it looks like coming back without shame, choosing rest instead of force, staying committed quietly, and continuing without announcing it. And that still counts. Progress doesn't disappear because it's quiet, it disappears when you stop showing up. So here's the focus after this episode: pick one area of your life, just one, and commit to a small, repeatable action. Not big, not dramatic, just consistent. Stay with it, even when it feels boring, because boring is often where trust, discipline, and confidence are built. And remember this: you don't need to go harder, you need to go longer. Sustain. Consistency over intensity, always. As always, thank you for spending this time with me. Thank you for choosing growth. Thank you for trusting this space. Remember, this is Happy Motivation, where we find strength in reflection, clarity in movement, and power in the pause. I see you all soon.
and